Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. It always is. I hope you're doing well. We have reached the finals over in Turin. That's right, it is game on over in Italy this week. It's all to play for. We've only got 2 matches to ease us into it today, so it shouldn't take that much of our time. Get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'll be going for today will be in the pinned comments. Feel free to take a look at that. You're more than welcome to. You take it if you want, you leave it if you must. It's entirely up to you. The choice is yours. But do like the video. If you'd be so kind, get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. We do continue to grow each and every day. To be an honour to welcome you to the team, so get yourself involved. There's nothing to recap because it's the first day of the finals, but I will just say we are riding a blazing streak, a 5-game winning streak, or a 5-day winning streak rather, coming from Athens and Met, so I will make it my priority to try and keep that intact over in Italy this week. So as always, we'll see what we can do, and we'll waste no more time with it. Let's get right into business. Let's get it on. So the first one is Carlos Alcaraz, Alex de Minaur. Really looking forward to watching this. It's going to be a banger.
And I know bangers.
That's right. I say I'm looking forward to it. We're in the finals. I'm really excited for every one of these matches that we've got this week. Safe to say, I'm expecting the best from the lot of them. Whether we get it or not is entirely up to them, but I suppose we shall see. But starting us off is these two. The head-to-head is 4-0 to Carlos Alcaraz. Played each other twice this year. First time out, 2022, on the clay, 3 sets to the Spaniard. Then the next year, over in Queens, in the final, 6-4, 6-4. And then the two they played this year, we had them earlier on in the season, indoor hard court, Rotterdam final. It was 2-1 to Carlos Alcaraz, 6-4, 3-6, 6-2. The Demon did manage to force a third and final set out of him, but ultimately it was Alcaraz that came out on top at that, no surprise. And then shortly after we went over to Barcelona, onto the clay, 7-5, 6-3 in the quarterfinals. Easy as you like. Could we be in store for more of the same? Maybe, maybe not. 7-3 on the indoor hard court for Alcaraz this year, 11-3 for Alex de Minaur. He's been very good, man. He's had himself one hell of a season. I've been saying for quite some time the Demon is by far one of the better players on the tour. Is he as good as Carlos Alcaraz? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Although we did give him a good go in Rotterdam, I'll give him that. There's just levels. I always say there's just levels to this one. I do believe Alex de Minaur, even though evidently he is one of the best players on the tour, he is a level or two below what we would consider to be the highest point of male tennis at the moment, folks. I always say with the Demon, don't I, get to a point in the tournament, it's kind of different with this one, because we have group stages and whatnot. But in certain tournaments, when the majority of them, when the heat's on, when the pressure starts to mount, quarterfinals, semi-finals, I start to get very concerned for Alex de Minaur, very concerned indeed. But now we are in the year-end finals, and if you ask me, I think every one of these matches, there's a lot on the line. It's all to play for this week. They kind of somewhat feel like a mini-final themselves. That's just my opinion. And not only that, you're playing Carlos Alcaraz. I was going to say, he kind of left it a bit late compared to the Spaniard anyway. de Minaur left it a lot later to qualify for Turin. I would have to assume he's ready to go today and give it his all. Be very inspired to take on the week. But if anyone's going to be inspired, surely it has to be Carlos Alcaraz, man. I mean, he's going to want that number 1 spot back, right? He's going to want that back, surely, and it's well within grasp, well within reach. Don't quote me on it. If he wins these 3 group stage games, will he be number 1 again? And not only that, will that be that done? Is that solidified? I'm not too sure. You will have to let me know. But I know it's closer than far, absolutely. So I'd have to assume, if anyone's going to be inspired, like I say, it's going to be this guy. It's going to be this guy. He's going to be the one intending to do the most damage so far. I would have to assume he's going to get it done against Alex de Minaur. I would have taken him any other time on the season, and just because we're in the finals, it doesn't make it any different. 1.3 is very steep, considering we've only got 2 games today. It's not ideal. It's far from ideal as a parlay piece, even though it's Carlos Alcaraz 1.3. You don't really get him at 1.3 much often. But if I'm being honest, I don't know what I'd put that with. I don't know what I would parlay that with out of the Zverev and Shelton games. So the one I'm going to be looking at is that spread, I think. 3.5. Spread's 3.5. Even though we have He had a decent match with him in Rotterdam. Wouldn't have covered it. Wouldn't have covered it in Barcelona. And I would be a little bit surprised if he covered it now. It's a very dangerous spread. It's a very dangerous spread indeed, especially against the likes of Carlos Alcaraz, if you'd ask me. So doable, innit? It's so doable. If he's going to do it in straight sets, you're going to get a tie-break in a 6-4, that'd kill it off. If you think de Minaur could keep it close, you'd probably be looking at him on the spread. I don't think he's going to win it straight up. Get him around 3-1. 3-1 dog for the Demon. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, I'm not against them pulling off the upsets here. I'd love to see Alex de Minaur turn up and go on the warpath here, but I just can't see it happen. I can't see it happen. 3.5 on the spread for Alcaraz. You never get that. You never get that at all. I think I'll have to take it. Riding a bit of a blazing streak from Athens and Metz, 5 in a row coming into this one. I'm just going to bite the bullet on the spread here. I think it's as good as it's going to get for me today. Alcaraz minus 3.5. If it's pinned, it's pinned. If it's not, it's not. Going to be Zverev and Ben Shelton. Good old Shelly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Shelly!
Himself to the finals, didn't he? Happy days. Very pleased with that. I imagine he will also be rather pleased with that, and I would have to assume he's going to be more than game enough to tackle the week. But he does have to get past Zverev to start. 40 wins, 22 losses for Shelly on the season. That's good. 23-9 on the hardcore, 4-3 indoors. Is it as good as the season that Zverev has had? On paper, maybe not. Maybe not. 54 wins, 24 losses, 24-9 on the hardcore, 6-5 indoors. Now look, these have played each other 4 times before. We should be rather familiar with that. I'd probably go as far to say every one of these. We've seen it 3 times this year, and we've seen it in the Cincinnati Masters last year as well. Ben Shelton's won 1 set out of the 4 games against Zverev, and that was in the Cincinnati Masters last year. Ever since that, we had it in Munich over on the clay, 6-2, 6-4 in the final. I remember it. Everyone said Shelton was going to win or keep it close. Didn't stand a chance. Next time out in Stuttgart on the grass, kind of more of the same. Semi-finals, everyone was like, "Oh, Shelly's going to win this one. He's going to keep it close." He didn't win, but he did keep it close. 2 tie breaks. It's kind of what we expected, and that's more of a Ben Shelton result in my opinion. And then the game in Cincinnati. Now look, he got his arse handed to him by Zverev. He got absolutely bullied in that Cincinnati Masters 6-2, 6-2 in the quarterfinals. But just let me say, he was coming off that title in the Toronto Masters, so I will give him that. I will give him it. You know, I'm not going to hold that one against him whatsoever. And look, don't hold this one against me either, but I'm just going to say it is what it is. Zverev's just a better tennis player than Ben Shelton. He just is. He just is. You're getting Zverev around 1.6 today, and that's a bit fucking... I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what I expected, but 1.6, and people are taking it as well. There's quite a lot of cash coming on Zverev in the past few hours, if I'm being honest, folks. Now, there's 2 main factors that come into play in this matchup for me. And this is what I was saying in the last one. I'm not sure what I'd be taking in this, but the first one, probably the obvious one. You're probably sitting there going, why haven't you mentioned it already? Couple of injury concerns for our Zverev, isn't he? Couple of injury concerns indeed. You know, the match, well, prior to the Yannick Sinner match, was it his ankle? The ankle that he fucked up a few years ago. He was like, it swelled up, and I mean, he turned up against Yannick Sinner and he got absolutely battered, didn't he? He pasted him, and although I didn't expect Zverev to beat Yannick Sinner in the Paris Masters semi-finals, a bagel and a 6-1, that's disgraceful. That's disgraceful. Like, there has to be something up with that. That's not it. That's nowhere near what we expect from Zverev. Absolutely not. Even though it is Yannick Sinner winning 1 game in a best of 3. No, get the fuck out of here. Something has to be wrong with that. And even prior to that, wasn't it his shoulder over in Saudi, over in the Six Kings? It was his shoulder, and then he was fine, and then it was his ankle, and he looked fucking awful. I'm not too sure how he's going to look coming into this, but with all that being said, he's still quite a decent little favourite, quite a chunky favourite in this one, and I wouldn't have minded it at any other time. I'd say I don't mind it, but I'm not too sure how he's going to hold up, because there was definitely something wrong not that long ago. Well, I'd say last week in the Paris Masters, definitely something wrong. Pretty sure he was saying he was going to have to go back to the same guy who performed surgery on it to see what the fuck was going on. I don't know. It's all fucked up at the moment. But considering he's supposed to be all banged up, like I say, he's still a big favourite and people are taking it, so maybe he's not going to be that bad. But that's the first one. The second and final factor that comes into play in this one, you may have already guessed, you may not, but allow me to tell you, I've said it all season, I've said it for quite some time, but I've said it all season, and just because we're in the finals doesn't make it any different. That return game of Ben Shelton needs some serious attention. Serious attention. It leaves a hell of a lot to be desired. For me personally, I mean, who am I to talk? Who am I to talk? My return game's fucking garbage. But, it is what it is. Considering this lad's number 6 in the world, he's barely in the top 60 when it comes to return efficiency. Barely in that top 60. I mean, if I was to list some of the players that have a more efficient return game than Ben Shelton, you would shit your pants. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone. You know what? I'll just give you some names. You'll go, there's no fucking way. You'll be rocking in the corner, going, absolutely not. It can't be true. Ben Shelton's 58 in the world for return efficiency currently. So people currently higher than him. Before we get to Zverev, this is Benjamin Bonzi, Adam Walton, Alexander Muller, Gael Monfils, Jakob Mensah, Ethan Quinn, Alex Michelsen, Luciano. I'm going to leave these clay ones out of it because obviously they do the majority of the damage on the clay. So maybe Darderi, and that's not that fair. Marcus Garon, Kirkmanovic, David Goffin, Batista Agut, Botic van der Sanchel, Francis Tiafoe, Zizou Bergs, Cam Norrie, Pedro Martin. You know what I mean? It's just, maybe it means nothing. Maybe it all just means nothing. And it could just mean nothing. But when I look at that, it means a little something to me. It does mean a little something to me. It pretty much just confirms the suspicions around the lack of returnability from Ben Shelton. And it's a bit of a double-edged sword, if I'm being honest with you, because just as much as I'm concerned with I'd say the ability to return, but let's just say more so the lack of ability to return from Ben Shelton, he is one of the very few players that, whether you like it or not, whether it's your style of tennis or not, quite frankly, he doesn't need an efficient return game. He doesn't need an efficient return game. You could probably look at that and say he's saved his way to the finals and he's been more than efficient on that. More than efficient, as we all know. But so is Zverev. I mean, look, if we're talking save, if we're talking just like a save battle, you've got the power from Ben Shelton. Okay, it may be a little bit heavier than that of Zverev's. It may not seem it on the day. As a matter of fact, he may not be much to split it. Now I'm thinking about it. But the thing is with Zverev, it may not be the heaviest. It may not be the quickest. We look at like Alexander Bublik, Gion Petr Perikar, Medjedovic. It's not like boom and save. But fuck me, is it clinical. It's so clinical and he does so much damage on that first save alone. He does a hell of a lot more damage on the return games compared to Ben Shelton as well. Like I say, Zverev as it stands, he may not turn up and be in the shape or the state of the better player, but I do believe he is the better tennis player this season. For how much longer? Not too sure. Not too sure. Wouldn't be surprised if Ben Shelton, say if he overtakes him. I mean, he's not far off it now. He's not far off it now. You'd have to assume Ben Shelton's only going to get better. Only going to get better. It's not personal. Kind of don't really want to say it, but kind of have to. Do you think Zverev's going to improve in the next few years? I wouldn't have thought so. And we'll just leave that one at that. As far as a bet, folks, I just couldn't touch it. Like I say, they both kind of cancel each other out. I'd want to take Zverev, but I don't know how fit he is. Well, that doesn't convince me enough to take Ben Shelton, because I don't know whether you're just going to be able to turn up and save your way through Zverev today, if that's what you need to do. So, I don't know. I feel like I'd have to be out. But providing the two of them can turn up, and if they are just going to save this one out, I suppose it's going to be an over. I suppose it would be an over. It's just food for thought. Don't go nailing yourself to a cross trying to find some value in these games this week, folks. It's the first day. It's the first day of the group stages. Just ease yourself into it, yeah. Ease yourself into it. But if you've got anything, please do let me know, as always. Very well, folks. That's going to do us once again. Another day in the bag. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for watching the show. Like and subscribe before you go. I'd appreciate that too. I'll be saying good night to you, or good morning, or whatever. But you take it easy. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. It's the most important thing, is it not? And I wish you the best of luck. However you decide to go about your day, let me know what you're going for. If you're interested in what I'm taking, it'll be in that pinned comment. But I'll be seeing you around. Enjoy the matches today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.